of all the young boys, and I looked up there, and my first cousin was up there. The name, boy, was that shaking. And on top of it, he was born on June 4th or so of 1927. And my husband was born June 8th of 1927. So I could picture,
What it was like.
what it was like and what life he missed out on. It was quite...
He was this young man. What's your name, honey?
Lahav.
Lahav was asking if any of us had a family or anything that were over in the camps.
Yes, well, I had a
So
first cousin.
this is Mrs. Abramsky.
It was very eerie to see that name up on the wall of the room.
Did you know him? Soon?
No, I did not. No, he was 7 years older than I, and I was 4 when we came to this country. So
I will say though that I was surprised, but like at Buchenwald, that was in East Germany.
Right.
And it was the communists that preserved it, and it was the communists who wrote the signs and told about all the bad things that had happened there. I mean, I think lots of times we don't give the Soviet
to them,
Union
right.
the credit for some. I mean, they did a lot of bad stuff. I mean, they raped a bunch of people when they went into Berlin,
Right.
but they actually had preserved it because it was an army camp. And they had all these signs, but we didn't go down.
They used it as a prison too.
They used it as a prison, but they preserved the horrible history.
Right. Who do they imprison there, Glenn?
Germans.
The Germans.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. The Russians imprisoned the Germans.
Yeah, but when we went there, it was right after reunification, and it had just been a Soviet army
Right.
camp. That's all.
Publicity about it when we opened it and had it open for the public. I had a newspaper clipping, but that seems to have disappeared. No, this is the same thing. There was one where we had the dedication of the garden.
Everybody to come to the conference room. What time is it now?
it's 11 o'clock.
It's 11. We have one more hour. Okay.
Because in Yiddish there's a name Esther, and I don't have a Hebrew name actually, so that's the way it goes. But when my granddaughter was going to be named, and I was named actually, which was another thing, that in the temple, well, had to be a synagogue. Actually, they didn't name girls in synagogues in those days. I mean, they certainly didn't have. My parents didn't know anything about reform, so forget about that. But when my granddaughter was named, the rabbi gave her a name because it was she was named after my mother-in-law who didn't have a Hebrew name, and a grandmother who wasn't even Jewish. So she
Grace towards Market. It's Einstein, Reinstein, Rosamond, Davis, and Bear across the street. Schreier had 2. David. So every single building there was a Jewish store.
What street was that?
Market.
North Front Street.
Oh.
For sure.
And then more.
And well, there's more on Market Street too, but that's the one that when I take the tour, I can, like, you wouldn't